Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and yes, I have decided to rebrand the channel name because OMB, Odin's movie blog, it is still very much going to be at the core and the crux of the channel itself because I am indeed Odin and I indeed have a movie blog, allegedly of course, but I am going to want to talk about other things like television and other pop culture stuff that I think would be better suited by the name OMB Reviews. I've already started the process of changing the name on Twitter. By the time this video goes live, the YouTube channel will also be rebranded as well. Pretty much nothing is going to change. The only difference will be the content that I put forward will not just be box office, not just movie talk, but also talking about things like television and other pop culture type things. Remember that I've also rebranded the Welcome to Asgard channel into the OMB Report, and so if you want to check that out, just go ahead and Google OMB Report and check out that channel for focusing on news, politics, and other commentaries about a wide variety of issues. Thank you again for your support, and if you want to continue to support the work that I do, please consider hitting the like or subscribe button and checking out the links in the description of the video to find out other ways to support the channel through possibly buying things like merch or making donations. Again, you just watching this video and sharing it is more than enough. But today I actually wanted to do a little bit of a mini review of Chapter 13 of Season 2, rather Chapter 13 of the entire series of The Mandalorian, named The Jedi. This is going to be a spoiler-filled review as far as what characters there are, what characters are mentioned, and other key points to that. So if you want to have no spoilers at all, I would say that the one thing I can say in a non-spoiler fashion is that this show still looks freaking gorgeous. The cinematography and the production design on the show, even with the heavy use of CGI for their background, looks flawless, looks fantastic. Again, some looks better than others, but this episode especially, the production design and environment that they were able to build felt so authentic to Star Wars, and it just also just made me feel comfortable. It's one of those comfort food items for me when it comes to how I consume movies and how I consume television, where it just made me feel happy to be where I was, and it made me want to learn more about the areas that these different people were in, and so I cannot wait to see what they do forward. That is something I can definitely say without spoiling anything. But as far as negatives go, this is still and completely like a video game where every episode you move just a little bit further along and then you get these side quests thrown in. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the side quests have been a lot of fun for the most part. It would just be kind of nice to see the show move in a slightly different direction with it, and I hope as we get further along in the season that happens. It was nice though to have essentially a non-filler episode with brand new characters being introduced for the first time, and also great action sequences to boot. This episode was written and directed by Dave Filoni, who had one of the weaker episodes of season 1, and so I was very happy to see that he was able to turn it around here because of that going forward. And so before going into this review, remember, please smash the like button, hit the subscribe, and share this with anyone that you think might want to hear my opinions and thoughts about The Mandalorian. Not sure how many people there are who want to hear that, but hey, some people like consuming this kind of content to find out what others think about the show. So anyway, when we deal with Chapter 13 of The Mandalorian, it deals with The Mandalorian going to the city to try and find out who is and where is this mysterious former Jedi Padawan, Ahsoka Tano, played by Rosario Dawson. And Rosario Dawson does a great job as Ahsoka Tano. She was not given a whole lot of screen time. She was not given a lot of lines in general, but for the lines that she had, she made her voice sound very much like, as close as she could, to the voice that we were so used to in the animated series during Clone Wars. She also tried to have the same mannerisms, and she looked like Ahsoka Tano. I think that's something that some people were slightly concerned with, but I can tell you, with the full makeup on, with the full headpiece on, she was Ahsoka Tano. She is Ahsoka Tano, and I'm really hoping that this is not just a one-off and that she does come back in the future. And at the very end of the episode, I wanted nothing more than for these two, the Mandalorian and Ahsoka to go off on adventures together. If you're going to play the video game mentality, if you're going to go on the side quest, at least have these two interesting characters together to learn more and more about each other. One of the key elements and one of the key plot points and plot devices of this was that, guess what? He finally completed his job. He finally got the boy. He finally got the child to a Jedi. And what happens? The Jedi, Ahsoka Tano, notices that within this child, he had previous training, had fallen away from it, had hidden his powers for a long time, probably out of self-preservation, but now he was ruled by emotions because why? He is connected with the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian he views as a father figure, and it's those types of emotions that can lead to those going down the path of the dark side. In fact, Ahsoka Tano mentioned specifically that she's seen it happen to some of the best, some people that she cared about. Clear reference there to what happened to Anakin Skywalker, and so it was really cool to have those connections being made between this and, of course, previous episodes, and also the Clone Wars as well. What is also interesting on top of all this is that you have a pretty cool siege, essentially. You have Ahsoka Tano and the Mandalorian. Both of themselves take on an entire guard of a city that is treating their citizens terribly, and it worked out very well. I mean, they worked as a great team. One of the cool things, though, that I was most excited about in this episode was the fact that we had freaking lightsabers back in full force. We had tons of lightsaber battles, which is great to see. Was very upset that Disney is still not quite ready to show full decapitations in their goriness, right? They're not ready to quite show that as clearly. I think that's actually something that Uche in the behind the scenes Geeks and Gamers chat, he brought up, saying like Disney's still not wanting to show this completely, and I agree. I think that's a great criticism because just show it already. Come on. It's not just a kid show, right? It's a PG-13-ish, PG-14-ish show. They're okay to be able to witness that kind of stuff. We also have another major part of this show, which is that we finally find out Baby Yoda's name. Even though he does not speak words as far as the common language, Ahsoka Tano, as being a trained Jedi, was able to communicate. We find out that his name was Grogu. And I'm trying to see if I am indeed pronouncing that correctly as I'm moving through this article. So yeah, Grogu is the name in which is revealed. We also find out that he was raised at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, where he was trained by many Jedi Masters. And after the rise of the Empire and fall of the Republic during the Clone Wars, there was a direct reference to Clone Wars, which I found, again, those are the kinds of references that I like, that Grogu was hidden, but then taken by someone from the Jedi Temple. Alone and lost for years, Grogu hid his powers over the years to survive. That's why his force power usage is inconsistent, because his abilities have been fading away, and that's why Ahsoka refuses to train him, because he has these emotional attachments, and he does not want that, she does not want him to fall to the dark side, as she has seen happen previously before. Ahsoka Mandalorian storm the city, take it over. It's pretty great. One of the coolest moments of the show for me, because I honestly wasn't expecting it. I'm sure that others, I'm sure Ryan RK Outpost was expecting this, because obviously they're going to try and bring in all of the possible EU characters that they can. But what was really cool is that you find out the mission that Ahsoka Tano was on this entire time was to find Grand Admiral Thrawn. So we are going to get live-action Grand Admiral Thrawn, and all I can say is that I hope that whoever they decide to cast for it does it right, and I hope that he does not do the Clone Wars voice. There was a great rendition of Grand Admiral Thrawn in the audiobook versions of the original Thrawn trilogy done by Mark Thompson, and Thrawn had a very deep and menacing voice, a voice that just commanded the room, made you believe that he knew exactly what he was talking about. It would be great for them to go back to that. Seeing that they don't really care about canon all that much, it wouldn't be that much of a change to do so. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, Ahsoka Tano is alive. She is fighting. She still looks like a badass. She's still got the double lightsabers, and she's using them well. Can say this much when it comes to how they portrayed those fights. I wanted a little bit more. I wanted a little bit further back cameras to really see the fights take out. It's one of those typical tricks that you normally use to try and save on time and save on, essentially pay of having to pay stunt people to learn really complicated choreographed scenes. But it was still pretty effective of showing that Ahsoka Tano still has it, that she is still very much a badass with a very strong connection to the Force. So obviously the Mandalorian now leaves the planet, and the reason why is because we find out here Ahsoka is going to make this clear that there is a potential, there is a possibility that Grogu could receive some type of training. And it says here in Wikipedia, Ahsoka notes that Mandalorian has become like a father to Grogu, and that he should try and take the child to Tython, where there are the ruins of an old temple. She believes that Grogu should decide on his own course, which he can do on Tython by tapping into the Force at the temple. If his calls are answered by another Jedi, he'll be trained by that Jedi. Otherwise, it's up to the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian then gets the child and starts his journey to Tython. Now, that is an interesting point, because which Jedi? I think that you're going to see a situation where you're going to have to say either a Jedi will respond and he'll get trained, or he won't. Writing-wise, what is the more interesting story? You get an actual Jedi. Now, there's been no proof of this up yet to this point, at least not that I'm aware of, but this is just the instant name that popped into my head. You know who I would love to see come in and train little Grogu, little baby Yoda, and accept his challenge? Wouldn't it be amazing if all of a sudden, because this is something that was established in the canon that was no longer canon, and maybe still be canon because it's all very confusing when it comes to Disney Star Wars, what if Mace Windu comes back? What if Mace Windu gets brought back into the story to train Grogu, to train Baby Yoda? He didn't actually die. This is actually something that's established in the now non-canon. But again, maybe some of the stories became canon, but he survived. He survived falling from the building after being thrown out by the Emperor, after Anakin finally turned on him and fully embraced the dark side in that process. But again, this kind of sets up that there's going to be a call by another Jedi. Who is that Jedi going to be? They could go very simple with it. They could make it very cheesy. But man, oh man, I don't know about you, but if it could be someone like him, if we could get Samuel L. Jackson back into this show, I would be freaking ecstatic about it all. And it could be a lot of fun. So all I can say is, as my overall review of this episode, was that it was very good. The atmosphere, the production design, all of those elements that have been very, very good every episode so far of this specific season was fantastic. There were some story elements that I thought were also really good, really well put together. Are there still problems with the story feeling more so like a video game where you're constantly going on side quests? Absolutely. Again, literally the show ended and I kind of rolled my eyes when Ahsoka goes, well, you can take him to Tython and then you'll do this. And it's like, great, another side quest. That's exactly what we need, while we still have all of these other things happening behind the scenes that we still have no idea what the end result is going to be. Now, of course, Grand Admiral Thrawn is being thrown back into the picture as well. Who knows where it's going to go? But here's the thing. Notice how even in my criticisms, I'm excited. I'm just excited about Star Wars again, and this is something that I didn't think I'd feel for a very long time. Now, could all of this go away in a week or two? Yes, absolutely. I remember this was kind of the experience I had with Clone Wars. When had the season 7 episodes of Clone Wars, the first few episodes, I was so pumped and psyched, and then we had those 4 terrible episodes of the Martez sisters, and that kind of just threw me out of the show, and I didn't care anymore. And then the end brought me right back in. So we could very well have that happen here in this show. I'm hoping that it won't. It looks like so far this season overall has a little bit more crispness to it, I think. Obviously, we've had some filler episodes, but I don't think the bad episodes of this season are as bad as the really bad episodes in season 1. Also, it's been really great to see that some of these directors have grown a lot. The Bryce Dallas Howard episode not too long ago, for instance, was significantly better than the one she had in season 1. This one being a full Dave Filoni production where he wrote and directed, and it also was, I think, a step in the right direction as well. And so if I had to give this individual episode a rating, I would probably give it an A-. I thought it was very strong. I thought that it furthered the story along to a point, but did still also open up this video game mentality as well. But needless to say, I'm excited to see where we go from here. I'm excited to see who this Jedi will be. Again, I'm putting money on Mace Windu. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to end up doing? It could very well be another Jedi that could just, make us all go crazy and make us all go nuts. I'm going to be interested to find out more about what is going to actually happen on Tython. In fact, let me try and see just to look up more information about Tython itself. It says here, Deep Core mountains. You have the Jedi Temple, Meteorial Ice Cap. It was a planet located in the galaxy's deep core and shrouded in myth. Some Jedi scholars made a case Tython as the location of the Jedi Order's first temple, alongside other candidate worlds such as Ahch-To, Coruscant, Jeddah, and Ossus. During the Galactic Civil War, Dr. Cheli Lana Afra led Darth Vader to Tython's meridional ice cap to mislead him to the locations of the Rebel Alliance's main base, which was actually on the Outer Rim. So it does have some history here, it seems, in the Star Wars universe, and it'll be interesting to see how it comes into play as this series goes on. Though something tells me we'll probably have 1 or 2 episodes before we even get to Tython to have filler, sadly enough. But hey, I'm going to very much praise the good that we have now. But what are your thoughts about this? Do you think the A- score that I gave is fair? Are you enjoying The Mandalorian? Again, it just feels like Star Wars. Is it the best thing since sliced bread? Is it the most amazing thing ever? No. But there are so many good things to say about it, and I'm going to focus on those things because, hey, when it comes to Star Wars, we all need just a little bit of something to look forward to. So anyway, let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash the like button, hit that subscribe. It helps out a lot. You are all amazing, beautiful people. Thank you for putting up with the changing of the rebranding of the channel to OMB Reviews. Again, still focusing on movie box office when we have box office content, but also stemming now into also movie reviews more often and other things like this to kind of expand what I can talk about, because our hands are kind of tied with the current state of the world in which we live in. So let me know your thoughts. And yeah, thank you very much for being here. Please also go ahead and support the OMB Report if you want to do that. That is on YouTube and on Rumble. This is also on Rumble as well. So if you've been wanting to leave YouTube behind, you can definitely check the link out in the description to find the link to the Rumble account. Subscribe over there. And I don't know how to monetize over there quite yet, but we'll get there. And again, thank you again in advance for everyone that has been so supportive of this channel and of the work that we've been doing. It's been great to have the last couple days off. I'm going to have some more time in the future to continue to do videos like this. And yeah, it's been exciting. All right, you guys are awesome. No live stream from me tomorrow on Saturday. I'll put a release out on Twitter and all the socials just to make sure everyone knows. But if someone does ask, no live show tomorrow on Saturday, as my family is in town and part of the family is getting in late and is only in until early the next day, obviously because of all the different COVID restrictions and everything and schedules. And so I'm going to want to make sure I'm available during that time period. So that means our next stream will be on Tuesday. You guys rock. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my November Patreon and Subscribe Star members: Albertus Magnus, Animation Commentator, Brian P., David Bobrizik, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Hail Father, Father Damian Cook, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, The Hunker Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jay, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Camille, Laura Story ×2, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Outpost Dyer, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, or Miss Martin Muses, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and Tina B., the Empress of the Universe, and Garrett Searles. Thank you all for being my Patreon members, and a shout out, of course, to my Subscribe Star members: Stand For, John B., Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Nabadan G. Adams, and ZK-Man, and Andrew Hoyle. Thank you to my Subscribe Star and Patreon members for supporting me for this month. I hope that you are enjoying your perks of getting access to things like a podcast, to giveaways, and also, of course, to other exclusive content. I know I've fallen a little bit behind with the birth of baby Thor, and so I thank you very much for your patience and, of course, for your continued support. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.